Good day, grade 7 students. So how are you in your homes? Are you okay while staying in your home? So I hope you are okay there and you are enjoying the time with your family. Okay, so today I will be discussing to you in a video presentation on the topic that is a continuation that we've discussed last time before the situation that we have now happened. Okay, so the topic that I will be discussing today is joints and splices. Okay, so before I discuss to you the lesson, why do you think we need to have the knowledge on what are the electrical splices and joints for electricity? Okay, I hope you have an idea in your mind. So, electrical joints and splices are important in every electrical works, especially in our homes, the electrical works in the offices, in our classroom, and also in our home. Because the electrical joints and splices are used to connect two wires together. Because sometimes if one wire is not enough for an electrical work, then you need to have another wire. So for you to connect those wires, you are not allowed to connect it just by connecting it with an electrical tape. But you need to connect it with electrical joints and splices. So as I start my discussion, we are going to encounter the types of joints and splices for electrical works, then how to strip the insulation of every wires, then what are the ways in which we can cover the splices or joints. So sit back, relax, and hope you are ready to listen to my discussion. Okay, so again, the topic we will be discussing today is common electrical joints and splices. So again, we are going to know here the common electrical joints and splices, how to put electrical tape on the splices and joints, and how to strip off insulation on wires. Okay, so first, what is the meaning of splices and joints? So splices is a join or connect by interweaving the strands. So splices and joint is just two terms that is used to describe what? The connection between two electrical wires. Okay, this is an example of an electrical splices. As you can see, it connected three different wires together. Okay, then joint, an electrical connection of a cable end that connects to another cable or the terminal of the equipment. So just the same with the splices, joint is a connection between two wires or two cables in which they are attached or connected together. Okay, next. So what are the types of joints and splices? Okay, so joints and splices are used to connect two wires together in a different electrical works. Okay, so what are these types of joints and splices? So number one, Western Union splice. Okay, Western Union splice is the most common type of wire splice. Why do you think it is the most common? Because as you can see in the demonstration here, that it is the very easiest splice that you can create. Because it will just join two wires by twisting it together. Now, next is the rat tail joint. Okay, this is a splice used in a junction box or for connecting branch circuits. So, made by twisting two wires. As you can see, there are two wires. Then you twist it together. So as you can see in the name itself, rat tail, it is like a tail of a rat. So another name for rat tail joint is a pigtail joint. So now, Okay, next, number 3, the plain tap splice. Okay, plain tap splice is also called a tap joint. Okay, used to connect a conductor to a running wire. So where is the running wire here? So the running wire is this one. Then you're going to connect a conductor. So this is another wire or conductor between the running wire. Okay, so next, the knotted or loop tap point joint. So it is used where the splice is subject to strain or slippage. As you can see, it is like the same with the plain tap splice, but the difference is that it is a knot or a loop in which you're going to connect 3 or 4 wires together. Okay, next, ordinary cross joint. So, it is where 2 tap conductors are to extend away from branch conductors in opposite directions. So, as you can see, there are 4 opposite directions, from left to right, then up and down. So usually this kind of joint is used to make parallel circuits or different circuits, because sometimes in an electrical circuit we don't just have a series circuit or only one circuit, but sometimes an electrician will make a lot of circuits, and it's called parallel circuit. So this is a kind of joint that is used to make in a parallel circuit. Number 6, double wrap cross joint. So used identically for the same reason as the ordinary cross joint, with the advantage of being stronger. So as you can see, it is just the same with the cross joint. It has 4 conductors, then you twist it together. But as you can see, the twist here in the double wrap cross joint is more stronger because it has what? How many twists? 2 twists. That's why it is very strong for a joint in an electrical circuit. So, okay, next, number 7, duplex joint. It is used in a system of which uses 2 wires such as non-metallic shredded cable armored or BX cable, cords, and others. So this kind of joint, it uses different kinds of wire cables. As you can see, I cannot show you a picture because I didn't find it in the Google. But you can see it in your book if you want a reference, okay? So now, okay, next, number 8, Britannia joint. Britannia joint is a form of electrical joint used for bare overhead wires where great tensile strength is required. So as you can see in these pictures here, you can really see that there is really a strength in this kind of joint because you will tie 2 wires or 2 conductors with another wire or conductor so that you can create a good strong joint. So next, number 9, terminating fixture joint. So it is used to connect small diameter wire such as lighting fixture to a larger diameter wire used in a branch circuit. So as you can see, this is just 2 small wires in which you're going to connect it, then make the terminating fixture joint. So terminating fixture joint is just used to connect 2 small diameter of wires. It is not used to connect 2 long diameter wire. Okay, so for the purpose that if you don't have a lot of wires na, then you can use this one. Okay, last one, number 10, small aerial joint. It is used mostly on outside work or in locations where wires are subjected to considerable movement. So as you can see, this kind of joint is just used for locations in which you need to move the wires. So as you can see, this kind of nut, there's a tendency that you can move this or you can adjust this depending on the availability or comfortability of the electrical works. Okay, so we are done with all the types of electrical joints and splices. So if you're going to make the electrical joints and splices in your home as much as possible. If you cannot do it with your bare hands, then you are going to use what? Pliers, like long nose plier, conductor wire, or any kind of pliers in which you can use it comfortably when twisting the wires, because a wire is a very hard object. So if you're going to twist it with your bare hands, it will really hurt your hands. So again, if you're going to make splices or joints, you need to what? Use pliers. Okay? Okay, next, let's proceed to the next subtopic of this lesson. Okay, next, how to cut and strip wire. Why do you think we need to cut and strip wire? Okay, I hope you have an idea in your mind. So, we need to cut and strip wire because we cannot connect two wires together if you're not going to connect it using the conductors or the wire itself. Because a wire has insulators, or this plastic one, a cover, in which it will protect the conductors or any person from what? From handling or holding a wire, then preventing any person from experiencing ground or electrical shock. Okay, because if an electrical wire is very open, then it can really lead to grounding or electrical shock to the person that you will hold the wire. Okay, so now, how do we cut and strip wire? There are two ways. We can cut it with a wire stripper, like this one, or we can cut it using a cutter or a knife. So let's use wire stripper. Yes, because this kind of tool is really used to strip the wire. So if you want to have a comfortable way of stripping the wire, then you're going to use a wire stripper. Next, the second way to remove the insulator of wires or insulation of wires is using a what? A knife. But remember, when you're going to use a knife, please be careful when using the knife or cutter when stripping wire. So if you cannot make it on your own, then you can ask your parents to cut the wire by them. Because if you cannot make it, then let them do it. Because if it is very hard, it is not bad to ask help from your parents. Okay? For your safety also. Okay. So now, the underwriter's or electrician's knot. So how do we tie an underwriter's knot? Okay, so why do you think if you are an electrician, you need to remember to tie an underwriter's knot? What do you think is the purpose of this knot? Okay, so an underwriter's knot prevents the wires from being pulled away from their connection to each other or to electrical terminals. Because sometimes, if they're not going to make this kind of knot, then, for example, someone will be pulling the wire. So they can easily remove the wires because of it doesn't have an underwriter's knot. So, the very basic or important thing that every electrician should remember is the electrician knot. Lot or a little practice is needed to make this kind of knot. But I know and I will believe in you that you can really make the underwriter's knot. So now, the last topic before we end our discussion today, replacing the insulation with plastic electrician's tape. So usually, if you're going to make the splices and joints, for example, you're done with the Western splice. So, what are you going to do? Are you just gonna leave it like that? That the conductor is open or the wire is open? So, no. So, in every time you're going to do a joint or a splices for every electrical wires, you need to put what? A plastic electrician tape or the well-known electrical tape. Because if you're not going to put a tape on a wire, then it can lead to what? grounding, most especially if someone will be touching the wire. And also, it can also lead to electrical shock to those who will touch the wire. So, for security purposes, every time you are done with doing the joints and the splices, then you need to put the plastic electrician's tape. Okay, so again, what are the types of joints and splices? Western Union splice, rat tail joint, plain top splice, knotted or loop top point joint, ordinary cross joint, double wrap cross joint, duplex joint, Britannia joint, terminating fixture joint, small aerial joint. Then, how to cut and strip wire. So, there are two ways. Why? Using wire cutter or wire stripper, then using a knife. So, again, how do we do the electrician's knot? So, the purpose of this one is to prevent the wire from being pulled away from their connection. So, is it very easy to make? Okay, hope you will try it in your home. So, why do you think it is important to replace the insulation with electrician's tape or electrical tape? So that we can prevent what? Electrical shock and electrical grounding. Especially if we are get intact with the wires. Okay, so I hope that you have learned a lot of lesson in our discussion today. So remember, if you're going to make the splices or the joints, you need to use what? Your bare hands? So if you can do it with your bare hands, it's just okay. But if you cannot do it with your bare hands, if your hand is hurting na, then you're going to use what? Pliers, okay? Okay, next. Again, if we are done with the splices and the joints, what are we going to put? Electrical tape. Because electrical tape, what is the purpose of it? It can protect us from electrical shock and electrical grounding, especially if we are intact with the wires. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the activity that you are going to make for this topic. Activity time. So this is your activity. So this activity is individual. So individual, not by group. But you can ask assistance or help from your parents. So you will make your activity in your home, not in school. So you will make what? One splice or joint and the underwriter's knot. So you're just going to choose one, only one, okay? So it's either you will going to choose the easiest one or you're going to choose the hardest one. Next, after you make the two, the splice joint or the underwriter's knot, then you're going to attach this in a band paper using a scotch tape or any tape. Then after that, you're going to label under it. So don't forget to put a label because if you're not going to make a label, then I will never know what kind of splice, then what is that knot. Okay, don't forget that. Then after that, if you are done putting the splice on the underwriter's knot in the band paper, then you will picture it. You're going to picture your output with your name in the band paper. Then you can personal message it to me or PM it to me in the messenger so that I can check it immediately. Okay, so this will be the materials that you will need. A wire cutter or a wire cutter plier, long nose plier for twisting the wires. Okay, so again for your activity, what are you going to make? A one splice or joint for any of your choice. Then the underwriter's knot. So after you have done these splices and the knot, you're going to put it in a band paper with a tape. you're going to put it in a bond paper. Then after that, with your name and the name of the splice and the knot under every splice or yung underwriter's knot. Then after that, you will take a picture, then you will send it to me via messenger. Okay? So do you have any questions? Okay, so if you have any inquiries with our discussion today, you can just message me via messenger or via Facebook or in the Google Classroom. Okay, so I'm glad and I hope that you have learned in our lesson today. So, hoping that we can see each other again. So, thank you for listening. Bye!